guys, what am I up to? So right now I'm in my bedroom and I am looking at just starting to look at some insurance stuff. So I did have someone get back to me this morning and they're like, now we want you to take life. So I took medical, accident, and now it's life for insurance. And I had someone else get back to me and say, we just need, your birth date, social security number, and you will have credit with the state. So I now have that down under my belt. And all I did was just take it because like I get bored easy. So I'm like, well, I'm going to take an insurance class because I'm bored. So I have a lot of energy. So my interviews today went extremely well. My interviews at a hotel, I had applied for two jobs there. One in the restaurant business, and that is what I'm doing is I have a plan, okay? That is for a different type of restaurant work I haven't done before. That is upstairs, like with rich people, and it's a different restaurant. Um, and then I had applied for room attendant, which they make it very clear room attendant and houseman are two separate things. So I had a lot to go over. I had like almost 20 questions with the server thing, in-depth questions. Are you a team player? Give me an example of something you did for customer service and working as a team. And I'm like, well, I was doing laundry early one morning and my the person in charge said, hey, customer was upstairs. They spilled water right by the elevator. Can you please wipe that up before you do your laundry? And I'm like, yeah, do you need a mop or rags? And she's like, rags should be okay. So I went up there and took care of that. And then they were like, what is an example of when a customer wasn't happy with their food? And I'm like, well, I usually bend over backwards and I'm usually like, I will apologize and say, what can I get you? Instead, I will get a manager to get back to the table to make sure people are happy. And then I will usually offer like a discount and then try to get them something else to make them happy. So there were a lot of questions like this, and I did a good job. She loved all my answers. She's like, and when a customer is difficult, I'm like, customer is always right. That's how I was brought up, 100%. They are always right, even if they're wrong. So she loved my answers, and the other two people I interviewed with loved my answers, and it looks like I am going to have plenty of work. Plenty of work. So my point, I'm telling you, I've got a point to this. So when I was raising my five sons up and homeschooling, I met a lady today and she's like, you have five sons? She's like, holy cow, I only had two and that was enough for me. And then the Uber driver is like, holy cow, you don't look like you could have a son as old as you do. And I go, oh, I get that all the time. I do. And so he's like, oh, man, come on, strong. But, I mean, you look good for your age. So, anyways, so what my goal is when I was home and homeschooling, I did not put a lot of effort into my jobs. I just didn't. And I didn't put, yeah, when I worked, I did a good job, but I didn't go like for a career because I knew staying home was my career. That was my career. Being a wife, a mother, homeschooling, that was my career. And then before I was married, I was working at different restaurants, and I did a good job, but again, I wasn't like, that was not my main focus to work. It was finding a husband that, and I think that's very common for girls, they're not into the money. They're trying to find a man, right? So, and then when I found, when my husband and I were dating, he took all my time. And then when I was married, he took all my time, and my kids took all my time. So now that I am out here right now, I'm like, okay, you've got some time off before you start your new job next week, and then you've got some time off before they're probably going to hire you. And the thing is, now what I'm doing is I'm working at it. Now I'm working at it even more than I ever have. And I'm like, all right, so, one job I'm probably going to be closing at night, closing down the restaurant. That's a huge responsibility. And I've thought, Melissa, why haven't you ever gone for a manager? You have well over 10 years of experience in the restaurant business. You have over 7 years of cleaning experience. You have all this. And I've tended to like get the dead end jobs or stay at the bottom or, and it's like, okay, Melissa, so now, you've got so much experience and it's almost like taking, like a circle, right? You're like over here, you're over here, you're over here. You spider web it all, and now it's like time to move up. So, so I have a lot of opportunity. I have tons of opportunity in insurance. I have, and I still want to do real estate too. I have so much energy, and one of the ladies I met today is the same way. She's full of energy. She's been in the cleaning business for 35 years. It was cool to meet her, and it was her work that took her around the world. So she worked at one hotel to another. One was in Florida, one was in Hawaii, one was in New York, and she's telling me about this. And she would travel and go from one restaurant to another and help them open restaurants. So she had, she says, I had an amazing life, and she went to retire, and they're like, well, we've got, a hotel we just opened up over here, and we need your help. So she didn't even retire. She's an older woman and she's still working. And she's like, I just can't sit still. And, my mom was very energetic. I'm like that too. 2 days off for me is like, ugh, that's a lot. I almost feel like one day is good. But yet, when I have my 2 days and once I start to get going on working around here, whether it's doing dishes or whatever I do, I start getting into that. So I just tend to like to, make sure I have a good amount of structure. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all my experiences and I'm starting, I did fix my resume a little bit, but I'm like, you need to put in everything, Melissa. So as I do this will start putting more stuff down on my resume and start getting the management jobs and the good paying jobs. And this job here, guaranteed 8 hours a day. And then my 2 days at the restaurant, and then a night. Then I have some nights at the restaurants, and the nights I'm not working at the restaurant, I have opportunity for insurance. And then if I have another night off, keep on educating myself and growing. So I have plenty of opportunities now. And then within this hotel, they're like, okay, and then if you want more hours, if you want more after having 8 hours a day, we have opportunity for you to grow, supervisor, etc. And then they're like, and then if you want to do banquets, which I have banquet experience, I haven't even put that down. There's so much I haven't even put in my resume because my focus was not work, it was my family. So they're like, and then you can go over here and you can do this and you can do that. And so I have guaranteed with this job more work than I can handle. And they pay well, so I don't need alimony. That's part of this video too. I don't need it. I have so much work opportunities that I just don't need it anymore. So I think I'm going to probably email Kevin Leandro, and I planned on fighting for alimony, but I talked to the court today and I didn't know this. I didn't know. They're like, well, if you've been married 10 years, you have, a right to alimony, but what the judge is going to do is, first of all, he's going to see if someone can afford it. Then he's going to see if you have a need. And then on top of that, even I didn't realize this until I found out today that, my bad, I had missed, I missed the cutoff for the financial affidavit, which I thought we weren't bringing until we went to the hearing. So, I mean, the judge could get my financial affidavit if I did it overnight, but still, I don't know that, if it's objected, it may not even be part of the whole thing. And then I didn't realize, I mean, I could probably argue for alimony and not take on opportunities and argue for it, but at this point, I just, it's just like I'm hurting myself if I don't take the work. So I can't really afford at this point to not get my career going with a great opportunity I just had today. So if I don't, if I'm like, oh, I'll just take alimony instead, I'm actually hurting myself. So I need to, I need to let it go. I need to let that whole alimony thing go. And I didn't know if the judge said no alimony, then that means you can't even get it in 5 years. So the court helped me with understanding this today, and I didn't really understand this before. So my bad. And then, yeah. So I'm not going to, after all, be doing alimony because it will be, it will be something that they'll be like, oh, you don't need it. You have plenty of opportunity to work. So I do. So that's what's going on. And as I continue to take this insurance class, I mean, you can make so much money doing this. It's just ridiculous. So that's what I got for now, guys. Thanks for joining me.